Hi and welcome to another episode of the AFCON Daily show on Citi TV. My name is Gabio Fen. Many thanks for choosing us. And this is your hub for all the updates all the way in Cote d'Ivoire. The AFCON on Citi TV is probably brought to you by Bet Power. So Bet Power holding us tight and join us to do this big on Citi TV for you. It's another episode, actually. It's a very interesting one and a packed one, of course, because the Black Stars of Ghana were in action last night against Mozambique, and they managed to bottle a 2-goal lead. We'll get into that in a bit. You can also send in your thoughts and call into the show a bit later. We'll activate the phone lines, but just hold on to your horses for me. My guests are seated. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, I'll introduce them and get into the talking. All right, welcome back. This is the AFCON Daily show on Citi TV. My name is Gabio Fair, and I've got two gentlemen in studio. First off, Yao Frimpong is with me today, and Kwame Bafu Jr. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you doing?
Doing very well.
I believe you watched the game yesterday.
Yeah.
I know you've got a lot to say, actually. Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you as
Charlie,
well.
you're looking good. After all the whatever happened yesterday.
As always, I have to look good.
All right, so those are my guests for today's show. Let's set the ball rolling. We'll start off with Ghana's final Group B game against Mozambique last night at the Alassane Ouattara Olympic Stadium. It ended in a 2-2 draw. The Black Stars were supposed to beat Mozambique and hope that Egypt will go on to lose or draw to Cape Verde to stand any chance of progressing, but it did not end well for the Black Stars. Let's catch up with the highlights. When we come back, we'll get into more of that for you. All right, and so that's what happened at the Alassane Ouattara Stadium in Abidjan last night. The Black Stars taking a 2-goal lead and allowing the Mozambicans to draw level, and that game ended in a 2-2 draw. It was Jordan Ayew with a brace for the Black Stars, and then Seni Katamo and also Reonildo getting the equalizer for the Black Stars. But what are people saying out the streets there? We hit out and we spoke to some few people. Let's take a listen to them. We'll come back and then we've got some more for you.
Always we want to do calculations. The best thing that Ghanaians know how to do is calculation. Oh, let's pray this country win so that we will go through. What if you also win? Why don't you win on your own so that other people too will be praying that, oh, let's Ghana win for us. If Ghana too win, we will go through. The best thing that we know what to do is to do calculations.
What were you expecting?
Win. Win keke. Win keke. No draw, no lose, win. What's Mozambique. Egypt 2-2, Mozambique 2-2.
What were you expecting? Like, you were expecting how many goals in the whole?
3-0, 2-0. At least one prize, okay.
The coach is to be blamed. He's a scam. He's a real scam. He as well as his assistant, they are all no good. He's a scam. I mean, how do you change pencil? Someone who was penetrating the opponent's half, someone who caused penalty, and bring in the day. I mean, what's he coming to do? Is he coming to clap to motivate the players or what? And as well as Richard Ofori. I mean, someone who is a second.
Yeah, so that's what happened at the end of that game between Ghana and Mozambique. Look, it says win, Keke. I mean, just win and progress to the next stage. At the time the Black Stars were leading, it was 1-0 between Cape Verde and Egypt, and the Black Stars had everything to do in terms of securing qualification to the next stage. But let's get this from Scott Gillan, who puts out this brilliant tactical breakdown for you after that 2-2 draw between Ghana and Mozambique.
So what went wrong against Mozambique? Well, I think you can answer the question in two ways. There's the what went wrong on the day, the kind of the short-term decisions that went into that particular 90 minutes, and then what's gone wrong in a much longer period of time that has ultimately led to a situation where Ghana are needing to beat Mozambique to get out of the group and are struggling to do so. On the day, I think the simple truth is that Ghana are way too conservative. Cape Verde gave them the blueprint for beating Mozambique, which is be proactive, be positive, press them, win the ball high up the pitch, create chances. Ghana didn't do that. Ghana, after scoring an early goal that was kind of a result of Mozambique actually making their life easier, playing a back four, letting Ghana match up across the pitch in attack and defence, which creates an isolation scenario ultimately for Joseph Pansel. Ghana then sit back, essentially defending for when you consider added time for 90 minutes, inviting a team that are willing to have the ball and can keep the ball and progress in the areas that Ghana are weak at defending, kind of particularly wider areas than the channels. They let them have the ball. They let them attack for an entire game, which is an okay strategy if you're a team that has defensive solidity, that has a reliable goalkeeper. But Ghana have neither of those things. And for 90 minutes, essentially, Ghana were conservative and, in fact, became increasingly conservative as the game wore on. Part of it was enforced, which comes from the systemic issues that I'll touch upon in terms of Eshimero having to be replaced by a double six, but some of it was decisions. Joseph Pansa was taken off for Andre Ayew, potentially arguably another systemic issue, but kills Ghana's counter-attacking threat, allows Mozambique to attack really without having any concern about whether Ghana could hurt them going the other way. And then Ghana, having gone 2-0 up, somewhat fortuitously, bring on two defenders for Semenyo and for Odoi and play a back five and again just invite pressure. And ultimately, as I said, if you're a team that doesn't have that defensive solidity, doesn't have a reliable goalkeeper, inviting anyone to attack you for 90 minutes can go wrong. And that's what happened. Ghana, instead of killing the game off, let Mozambique in, let them control the game, let them dominate the game, and were made to pay. And that ultimately was a in-game coaching decision that could have gone the other way. It wasn't the case their options were so limited that they needed to make the decisions that they made, but they did, and ultimately it cost them on the day. But there is a bigger picture, right? There is the fact that there were a lack of options when Majida Shamir went off. Now, that was a coaching decision in part because they decided to take only one kind of 8, and that was Richmond Lamptey, who they obviously didn't trust. But it's been a longer-term issue that Ghana haven't really had a plan for no Thomas Partey or no Mohamed Kudus, or sort of one of them being out or both of them being out. They just haven't had that plan to have an attack that functions if either of those players are unavailable. And that's a longer-term issue. The Andre Ayew being brought in, probably a longer-term issue as well. The fact that they just haven't transitioned, they haven't moved on from those guys. There hasn't been succession planning. Ultimately, the long-term issue is there's not been a plan, right? There's been 5 coaches in 5 years, probably likely to go on to number 6 soon. They all have different styles, different approaches. There's been no cohesion. You can see it. The team players are on different pages. There's just no cohesion in attack or defence, which is important, which teams that have beaten Ghana clearly have. I mean, Cape Verde being the prime example of that at the moment. There is no national style, which doesn't help in that sense. And the player ID doc, the national style ID doc, supposedly, what was that? Was it a book with a nice cover and blank pages? No one knows, but it certainly doesn't seem to be informing the coaching decisions of the national team staff, that's for sure. And there's just constant player turnover, and that leads to those cohesion issues. But it's about paying for sort of certain decisions that they've made over a long period of time, and that's how these results have sort of manifested themselves ultimately. They mess around kind of at the bottom end of the squad, whether it's picking local players in what looks like kind of a quota of some kind. There's just huge turnover there. They pick one guy, pick a few guys, they leave, they're never picked again. They pick 3-4 new guys, they leave or whatever, and it's just turnover. It looks like a quota even if it's not official. Or whether it's picking kind of connected players who are probably higher up the pecking order than you think that they should be, which ultimately means that there is no succession planning. It's not the case that just because someone doesn't play in one tournament that they're not going to be valuable in the next window or the next couple of windows or the next tournament. And that's where this sort of messing around with kind of the bottom, 3 to sometimes as many as sort of 8 or 9 spots can punish you and lead to that lack of succession planning. That there's just not been very many players coming through the team anymore. There aren't any plan Bs. We saw it with Majida Shimeru. Who's the wing back? Is there a target man? All these things. There's no plan Bs for issues. And then ultimately it's this issue that players are living on past glories, right? Andre Ayew, should he have been in the squad? I can't think there was a footballing reason, or certainly an on-field reason for him being involved. the leadership thing, the captaincy thing, as an outsider, it's impossible to know how influential he is. But at the same time, as an outsider, you perhaps hear that there's a toxicity in the camp that is potentially a product of that leadership style. The same thing with the goalkeeper, which we'll come on to. But it's those two things, the interdependency and the interrelationship between those kind of longer-term issues where there's not been a plan, where there's been picking poor squads, naming players who weren't good enough to be in the team, not succession planning, coupled with then that, and I think how that ultimately influences the mindset of the coaches and leading them to be very, very conservative. And obviously Chris Hughton's already kind of minded to be that way, leads to yesterday, where they, in a must-win game, tried to park the bus for 90 minutes.
All right, so that's Scott Gilland explaining to everybody why Ghana took a 2-goal lead and managed to let that goal lead slip to Mozambique. A late collapse against the Mambas of Mozambique last night. And one man who has fared well at the tournament is Mohamed Kudus. He scored 2 goals against Egypt, but against Mozambique he did not score. But he fared well and was yanked off later, I think in the 87th minute, and he has some few words to share.
In games like this, it's just small margins, it's little things, you need to keep the focus throughout the whole game. And you could see today, the last minute, we gave out 2 cheap goals against Egypt. You could see the same thing. We just lose the concentration in the last minute of the game. Today was easy win for us, 2-0 up. We should keep it like that to the end of the game. It's just too sloppy and too silly mistakes from Egypt and this game. It's too easy.
Next question. Hello, Kudus. My name is Andre Mangrea from PFM. We went the game from the stands. You were closer to the absolute, but substituted. What really happened? What really happened to the team? What really happened to the players? Because none of my colleagues here can explain it. 2 goals up, people went down. When they came up with 2-2, we are out of the competition. What really is happening to the Blacks of Ghana?
That's what I'm saying. I can't even explain it. Just lack of concentration in the last minute. This is not about quality or whatever. It's just lack of concentration in the last minute. It's too easy. Some mistakes. But yeah, we move on from this and then we look at what's ahead.
Well, yeah, you can understand why Kudus will find ways to actually put together and describe that performance against Mozambique. You don't do that. To take a 2-goal lead, back-to-back slips against Egypt and Mozambique. I can understand why Kudus will struggle to do that. But from points of the touchpad, I've still got Kwame Bafo here with me in studio. You can also send your thoughts on the WhatsApp text lines. This is the AFCON Daily Show. My name is Gabriel Fen. It's heavily powered by BetPower. You can win big with BetPower. Just sign on to betpower.com.gh and just something small, and you're going to win big. The AFCON matches are still going on. We've got some matches still coming up all the way to February 11th. So there's still a lot to do in terms of winning big with BetPower. Let me come to, after everything that happened last night, my takeaways actually from that game was 2 things. The Andre substitution in the first half. And I don't know what Richard Ofori was doing. Yeah. But you're on the touchpad today. So what do you have for us today?
So, there are a couple of things to touch on. The goals we conceded, the goals we scored, and certainly the most important thing, our goalkeeper or our goalkeeping situation.
Okay.
So I'll start off with Richard Ofori. Just so we appreciate what he's done for Ghana. He made an early save in the second half. But then one key thing we notice is his positioning when it comes to corners.
Okay.
So when you look at the corners, Richard Ofori, right here, he's situated where you need him to be as a goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. However, the challenge I have is, what kind of marking are we doing? Are we doing a zonal one? Okay. Are we doing man-to-man marking?
Big question.
And what you notice is we've got Dennis Odoi, Salisu, Jiku. Those are our tallest defenders, actually free not marking any men. It is our hope that the other 4 or the other 5, which is Semenyo, Baba,
Idrisu.
and I can't tell who that is, as well as Gideon Mensah and Jordan, will get to the ball first. However, what happens with this is that...
Okay, so that's Salis right there.
What happens instead is your keeper being unable. So you'd expect that Richard Ofori, where he's placed right now, he should be getting to the ball. He should be moving forward. He should be first to the ball. However, unable to do anything like that, he misses the ball. He gets the ball, and he's just giving it back to the opponent.
Yeah.
That's not the only time he does that.
Yeah.
It continues. There's another opportunity where there's another corner. Again, this time around, he actually palms the ball.
Try to parry his away.
He palms the ball right into the path of the Namibian man, who really ideally should be finishing this, because it's a free header. Again, Richard Ofori was giving us indication of what he had in store for us. Because you don't want your goalkeeper to be fluffing the lines so much throughout a game and you don't react. It's either, our defenders, Gideon Mensah, Salisu, Salis, Jiku, they should be getting to the ball. That is the priority. Those 5 were so crucial in Richard Ofori being safe.
Yeah.
They had to get to the ball every time. When they miss it, because he's been out of action, he's played 1 league game this season, been out of action for so long, he's a bit jittery.
Yeah.
And it's understandable. And that's why he kept fluffing the lines, as well as, gifting the ball away to the opponent. That's not the only time. The famous one. Again, with his positioning, if you pay attention to where he is, this shouldn't be a goal-scoring opportunity for Mozambique. Because Ghana has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players in the box. Richard Ofori can stay free.
Yeah.
So it's about the Ghanaian players actually getting to the ball first. That's all we had to do. We'll talk about the corner kick, how it was conceded and what's not. But if you have 10 players in the box, opponents should not be getting that ball.
Yeah.
No matter what. I'll slow it down. And then we look at those marking each other over here. I think that's Salis over there.
Yeah, that's Salis.
It shouldn't happen.
Okay.
All of them, they should all be getting to the ball. At least one player. You've got 10 players. Probability of you getting to the ball is at least
it's higher than
the opponent. And because they realized one thing about our goalkeeper, he stays on his line because he is uncertain.
Yeah.
He's got enough players to get the ball before him. So he stayed on his line, and they took advantage of that and placed it where he had no chance of getting to. And that is one of the problems that the Black Stars faced throughout the tournament.
Well, Kwame, let me draw you into the conversation. I mean, somebody will look at the game against Cape Verde. That's our first group game. Yeah. Ofori, I think he came out of his post trying to make himself big, and I mean, the ball ended up on the side of Cape Verde, and they had to score the second goal. Would you say that the technical team did not see all the signs, but yet stuck with him all through the games?
It's anytime you've listened to Coach Chris Hughton with regards to the goalkeeping situation, I think what he's normally done was to try and make us understand that with regards to the goalkeeping situation, he defers that to coach, the goalkeeper's coach, that's Richard Kingston. So Richard owes us a lot of accountability on that front, making us understand and know exactly what the reason is for a goalkeeper who has been out of action for that long time
to be starting games.
The last time Richard Ofori was active for the Black Stars was in 2019.
Okay.
Now, he's had his own fair of issues through injuries and other things. That's made it very difficult. As a result of a lot of the injuries and the blunders that he's had at Orlando Pirates,
he's gone on to lose his place.
He's lost his place. So this is a goalkeeper who has been inactive. This is the Africa Cup of Nations, the highest football in Africa, where a football nation like Ghana, a country that has won the tournament for 4 times, goes into this competition with a goalkeeper who has not been active.
Yeah.
And
so hold on to your thoughts there. So we've got Richard Ofori's season starts for you. The CAF Champions League, 3 games, 2 clean sheets, 1 goal conceded. And those are the games he's only managed to play. 3 games. It's really mind-boggling to look at this starting and for a country that is going to a tournament. And you see, I'm struggling to understand this because I look at Lawrence Atigisi. I mean, he's got his share of problems as well. I mean, we've got issues with our goalkeeping department in general. But for continuity's sake, and looking at what you want to do at the tournament, somebody will ask, why are you not sticking with a goalkeeper you're familiar with in Atigisi? And we saw that in that game against Comoros. That is when he started. Namibia, he played. And then all the way now into the AFCON.
You see, that's why I'm saying that Richard Kingston owes us a lot. Since the coach has deferred a lot of these situations too. So they have to explain to us why they insisted on Richard Ofori being in post for us at this crucial time. I mean, he's like Alfred Pong has analyzed. He gave us a lot of hints.
Yeah.
Not just in this game.
The signs were telling.
It was clear. It was clear. I mean, there are situations where he saved us. I mean, those one-on-one situations where he makes himself bigger and tries to, those are basic goalkeeping rules that you'd expect from him.
Yeah, you need to get it right.
I mean, there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. But we go into a situation where specific rudimentary goalkeeping skills, you're unable to, you can't command your area. Look at the corner kicks. You can't command your area.
Yeah.
What do you do?
And for a goalkeeper of that stature, I mean, you look at him and say,
what beats my mind is that, one, he is the captain. You are the captain of the team. You are the captain of the defense. You fail to organize your defense. You had 10 men in the box. 10. 1, 2, 3, 10 in the box. You fail to organize them. And that's what leads. Then you have all these players rising above. Now, you fail to make a move from the analysis that Yao has just showed us. You fail to make a move. You're on your line. Now, see the distance. I wish Yao could help us estimate the distance.
So I think we should take that again, so that
let's see the
we'll
distance.
let our viewers understand it better.
See the distance.
So after that, Yao, take us through the next one you've got for us, actually. So let's just have that again.
Let's see the distance.
Okay. I think... Okay, so you just keep running us through.
Just the distance.
So that Yao will still get
exactly. See the distance that was between where Real Nildo was and where he headed the ball from to the goal post.
Okay.
And Ofori was struggling. I mean, he was just backpedaling.
Yeah.
It looks as if it's a goalkeeper caught in 2 minds. Should I make a move to go?
Should I not?
Or should I not? And that was where the header came in.
Yeah.
And now there was nothing he could do.
Okay.
So clearly that's the problem.
Let's get back to Yao now. And then the first one Kwame is talking about, and then the second one you've got for us, Yao. I mean, that corner from Castamo.
Well,
just around the 94th minute, I believe.
Just look at the distance.
You can tell quite easily that he's only about 10 yards from goal.
Yeah. So the movement from him is actually really slow.
That brings back to my point. He was caught in 2 minds. Should I make a move or should I be in my post? What do I do? Clearly, he just didn't have an idea.
It's a clear situation of there's no communication
or whatsoever. Because even if you want to, okay, so in front of you, you've got Jiku, I see Salis, I see Jordan. That's even like 4 players in front of you to talk to them.
You see, one key thing we're forgetting is that it's an advantage for Mozambique, and they had 1 extra man here. So Jordan is taken out. Yeah. Now he's concerned with, okay, I have to make sure if there's a second ball, I'm getting to it. But Jiku and Salis, they are the men over here that Richard Ofori should be telling, one of you first to it. And there's no communication. And keepers, he's already rooted. It's as if he felt the opponent can't get the ball.
Yeah.
They have no chance. So he was slow to move across. And it was a feeble header. It was a looping header. It wasn't even one that had
It didn't got so much power, yeah.
And he's scrambling across. We'll take that again. You realize one thing, that he's actually moving forward. Rather than staying on the line, he's coming out to claim the ball. If you're coming out to claim, you jump.
Yeah.
You jump. But rather he's just coming hoping that he'll get to the ball. And that's what's worked against him over here.
Well, let's get to the second one. Okay, so that's the Yarina Shu, the Mozambicans equalizer, I believe.
Well, that's the Mozambican equalizer.
Okay.
The penalty, well, there's not much to say here. We were gifted 2 penalties in this game. But again, because of our inability to deal with set pieces, again, second ball, they were first to it. As they were first to the second ball, it just meant only one thing would happen. They would be able to get a touch, and we'll be found in a situation where it would go against us. Again, well, we'll see right here. Jordan, he did himself a big disservice over here. He had one option, which was, I'm coming to block the ball. You are in your area.
In your box, in your penalty box.
Your hands should not be flying. Especially, you've seen how rigid or strict the referee had been throughout the game.
And especially when the same thing was taken for the Black Stars.
Exactly. Where even that was a lot, the referee had a clear vision.
Yeah.
Again, he saw it here. And I think the referee's done very well because he's made sure that his decisions are firm. And it happens that it's the same time Mr. Inaki returns onto the pitch. It seems every time he's on the pitch, we're conceding something. But Dede lets himself down by simply not keeping his hand onto his body after seeing what the referee had done in the opponent's box.
Yeah. I mean, that's really not so good. But quick one, Kwame. So you are chasing a game, you're leading 2-0. I mean, at the time when Andre Ayew was introduced, the Black Stars were up by 1 goal, I believe. He came on in the second half. You yank off one of your, I think, your best attacking outlets in Joseph Pencil, who just in that moment when he switched with Jordan Ayew, got Ghana the penalty. And then you take him off. You bring in a player. I'm not too sure of what the instruction to Andre Ayew was. Because, look, clearly, I did not see what he did on the pitch.
I mean, the coach himself is probably confused. And he should be pinching himself, asking himself that question in the first place. Why did I make that substitution?
Yeah.
There was the famous statement he made at the press conference that Joseph Pencil was fatigued. He felt the player was fatigued. All right. The player has come out, I mean, through unofficial means. It wasn't to say that there was no fatigue whatsoever. So what necessitated Andre Ayew's inclusion in the game in the first place? You see, let's look at the sequence of events that happened to this. The moment he entered the pitch, he caused the foul.
Yeah.
I mean, after all these incidents, when the penalty came, as a captain, I don't know if you watched his body language. He was like, it looked as if, it's just going to be getting 1 goal and then that's it.
Unperturbed.
But if you watch the game carefully, you realize that these Mozambicans were not having it. Although they were down by 2-0, they showed more fight in chasing the game than we showed fight in protecting our
And it's a thing that has run through the Black Stars in the second half.
Yes.
Against Cape Verde, we saw a slow start.
Yes.
Against Egypt, we saw it.
Exactly.
And the Mozambicans, when they were even down by 2-0, they looked like a side who were trailing.
You see, that's what disappointed me the most with the captain. This is a captain who has been captain since 2019. Played 10 games as captain of the Black Stars and won only 1 in the AFCON. He will be remembered for that. I mean, it's something that we carefully...
That's not looking good with the Stars.
It's not looking good with you. And we are going out with a sequence of events that started with you.
Yeah.
You came onto the pitch.
That's true.
You gave yourself an experienced player who has played at top level football. You know, at that point in the box, yes, there are instinctive moments where you unfortunately, but you should know the loss.
Okay.
You don't extend yourself to make your body bigger.
Okay, let's get to Yao on the touch part now.
Well, the person you were talking about, Joseph Painter.
Joseph Painter, okay.
Excellent player.
So this is Ghana's first goal.
Ghana's
the sequence of play, okay.
First goal. You notice this is probably the best football Ghana played throughout the first half.
Yeah.
Early on, we just showed a bit more purpose and intent. Probably because we knew an early goal will settle the nerves and set us on our way. You notice quite clearly that the ball comes to Joseph Painter over here. And the one thing he had been consistent with throughout the tournament, as we've seen him, is running our opponents.
Yeah.
Once he's able to get the ball and turn and face the opponent, he makes it very, very difficult for you to stop him. So he knows he's probably going to get a decoy run from Gideon Mensah, takes the opponent on. Very, very simple. And you force them to make challenges. Easy. Easiest penalty we'll get. But as we've got the penalty, you're expecting that would be our sequence of events after that.
He'll probably stick
event.
to that place for quite some minutes.
Jordan came back to the left as soon as we started after the goal, and the purpose or intent we had disappeared. It's as though we were comfortable with the one goal, and like Scott said, we were conservative. We sat back and just allowed them to play. Probably the loss of Ashimeru also probably affected how we should play, because himself and probably Richard Lamptey are the only number 8s we had to probably move the ball forward for us. But then is an easy penalty, and we can go forward and see how well Jordan took it. It's as though it was a training session for him. He placed it where he knew he was just watching the goalkeeper and ensuring that keep on move and he'll finish it. But people will be concerned that Nanana over here, it's as though Joseph Spencer's leg just went into his path.
Yeah.
But from the referee's perspective, if he planted his foot, he could continue running. And he was able to bring him down. So that's why it's a penalty. Well, then we can move to the second incident.
Let's go to the second one. And Ghana's second penalty. So Ghana's 2 goals all coming from the spot kick through Jordan Ayew.
Another key thing to realize is that our best phases of play were where the goals came from.
Yeah.
Because we actually moved the ball around quicker, a bit more purposeful, and took advantage of certain players' individual abilities. So we move the ball forward, and Jordan's done the right thing here. But because we've lost our main number 9, and now it's Jordan, it's Dede.
Yeah.
It meant there was a bit more space for Kudus, because now they know Dede's ability in the air. They know what he can do out of nothing. So there was a bit more attention on him, and that meant that Kudus could get that free time on the ball to hurt the opponent. Simple cross and one touch. We've seen him do it in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Ajax, we've seen it several times. Just takes a touch, and referee will come into the cut very shortly, but you find that he was well positioned, and again he saw that player made himself bigger, and where it's hit him, there's nothing he can do but to ensure he takes the penalty. And it's a clear sign that Ghana knew what to do in terms of creating overloads on one side of the pitch, and then you bring the ball across, and then you finish the move. And with what Cape Verde did, where they were purposeful, it wasn't too different from this. You overload one side, bring the ball to the other side, you finish the move. However, we're lucky to get a penalty, and we finished the penalty. But that's not enough. the structural deficiencies of the squad or of the team on the day, once we made those certain changes, move to a 5 at the back, move to 4 at the back, where the same problems we saw in the first 2 games, where Dennis Odoi will be sucked into the centre-back position, it still existed. It meant Joseph Pinto, instead of attacking, that's why he got fatigued. Because he was finding himself tracking back
to help with defensive duties.
Exactly, and that's not what you want. I don't know if Chris Hughton was trying to play a 3 at the back, but wasn't quite clear to his players. But that meant responsibility will be passed on to certain players that will not be able to fulfill it.
Wow. Kwame, let me bring you in the conversation again. Now, you look at that squad we took there, especially in the midfield, where Majida Shimeru seems to be the only ball progressor. The next player we've got on that list did not even make the match day squad. That's Richmond Lamptey. Just different with the foot, left-footed, can also look to drive forward a bit and slot in that passes. But then Hughton just decides to introduce another DM, where we've seen it in a lot of games ever since he took charge. And that people are not too excited about the way he set up this team. Because you look at, up until Ashimeru was taken off, the Black Stars had momentum. You needed a player who would keep up with that, especially if you're making substitutions. You're bringing like-for-like replacement. But Hughton just goes for Idrisu.
It will be like we are repeating ourselves over and over again with regards to this specific midfield issue. It's an issue of profiling. That's one. What kind of football you want to play.
Okay.
I mean, Hughton has made it clear to us. He need not say it. He's made it clear
that he won't set up in a way to unleash some of the players or liberate some of the attacking players we've got.
That's exactly. I mean, you've put it right. He just doesn't want to liberate the players. He was very conservative in his approach. I mean, yes, this is tournament football, but this is Ghana we are talking about. For the first time in my life watching the Black Stars, I see players who could not pass. We watched Baba Idrisu in 3 games for the Black Stars. I'm curious to see that the passing stats that Baba Idrisu turned out.
In terms of progressive
passes. Or
I mean, he's always kept it simple, sideways.
Even sideways passes.
He hardly does it, Charlie.
If Baba Idrisu had 50% of his pass accuracy or had 50% pass accuracy, I'll be very surprised.
Wow.
I'm really curious to see that statistic because I could count the number of times where he misplaced passes. So it's curious to see the profiling. The coach had 2 of these kinds of players in Ashimeru and Richmond Lamptey. So I asked myself yesterday on social media that why then was it to succumb to the pressures that people were given that, take Richmond Lamptey, and then he had to take him.
Yeah, because probably the media club more.
But it clearly shows that he had no plans for the player. So when the moment Ashimeru went off, I told myself we are in trouble. Because yes, we were leading by a goal, but it was a slim margin. It was a game we had to win convincingly. And unfortunately, we couldn't do that. So with that slim lead or slim advantage, and Ashimeru going off, I felt we were in trouble because that was the point where who was going to pick the ball and make that next step to Kudus or to the attacking players. Because if you look at the flanks, yesterday I was making this analysis before the game on another platform that we needed direct wingers. If we are going to be conservative, we needed direct wingers, just like Joseph Pinto, to be able to go direct at step. So either play Joseph Pinto on the left and Nyama on the right, where we go very direct. So we know that, yes, we are making up for those midfield deficiencies that we are talking about. Then you decide to go with Jordan. We've all seen the approach Jordan has used in this competition. He barely goes direct. He gets the ball, he holds onto the ball.
Slows the player a bit, drags in fouls.
I mean, sometimes that's not what you need. There are phases of the game where you need that. That's when you are, let's say, having a 3-0 lead, where you want to conserve energy. Then you have that kind of player, slow the pace. Then you have the likes of Elisha Owusu, them coming in, trying to, control the tempo of the game. We controlled nothing in the game.
And what Pinto did just reminds us that, look, he needed somebody similar to what he's got
down the opposite side.
And that's Nyama who's in there.
Exactly.
But, I don't know what you make of that, though.
Well, Kwame, is spot on,
Yeah.
especially as we wanted to give away possession. We needed to have people that would have the speed as well as the ability. So you wanted to turn over the ball high up the pitch, or even if it's in the low block, you get it in your half, but you need a passer.
Okay.
It could be Kudus, in the sense that Kudus would move it to Nyama or to Painto and then be on his bike, waiting for the ball to come back to the edge of the box, and he finishes the move.
Okay.
But here's a situation where Elisha Owusu was on the bench. I think he would have a bit more in terms of passing quality than Baba Ijisu.
Yeah.
He was looked past, and it was Baba Ijisu again. Salis, even early on in the half, showed that he was showing signs of his injury, still on the pitch till the end. It begs the question that what exactly was going on in the team? Do they assess the players accurately or properly? Because when people are injured and it's telling, they can't make runs. To the extent that opponent is going past him and all he can do is jog a bit, then sprint. It means he's now preparing his mind.
That's a player who is fully fit.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's not what we want.
Okay. Now let's get back on the touch part.
This is the last bit of highlight, which is just because of one person. Ghana is in this situation. And I'll blame him.
I'm sure people watching this show would not like to see what you're about to show us from Richard Ofori. I mean,
it's the truth. And even Kwame mentioned it that. Chris Hughton says he's given the responsibility to Richard Kingston or the goalkeeping department. But this is not down to the goalkeeping department. It's down to one person being rusty and unavailable throughout the season. Richard Ofori, again, because he's unable to deal with crosses accurately, he stays on his line and he's jittery. This is a ball he's supposed to let go.
What's he doing? What's Ofori doing? And look at the strike from, I think that was Reinildo. It had less power behind it, though.
It had no power. It was a scuff shot. He's just decided to just hit the ball at once. And because our goalkeeper is just jittery, when the ball comes in, he's still on his line. But right here, he's concerned because he's not got enough match practice. He's not been in enough games. Training every week is not the same as having a game every week. And as he's very, very unprepared for the shot, he panics. He just panics. Ball comes in, and just there. You can even look at Amate. Amate is looking back at him to understand what is going on. Because he knows the ball's going out. Everyone's comfortable with the ball going. And Richard Ofori has a touch right there. And that's the touch of doom. Because from the resulting corner kick, Ghana concede.
And the touch of doom, I like that. But I mean, really poor from Richard Ofori. I don't know what he was thinking, because the ball is just literally out of play.
Exactly. I don't know if he wanted to restart play quickly. Whatever be the case, you watch the ball, usher it out. And then you take your time, waste a bit more time, and Ghana's through to the next round.
Well, Kwame, talk to me about that.
Is there anything to say? I mean, what is there to say? Because if you've watched my reaction as it's been played, I've just had my hand in my head, just questioning myself to know exactly what was going. Because look at the distance between the posts and where he was. What was Richard Ofori thinking? Like, just try. I'm just lost for words to understand exactly what he was trying to do with this situation. And that's what has brought all of this situation in the first place. I mean, because if you don't concede this corner,
it would have been a 2-1.
You find yourself in a lot more comfortable situation in trying to control the ball and other things. Because the moment you concede such a situation, what you are trying to do right now is to give the opponent an advantage or something close to your goal. Because a set piece, now in the world of football, set pieces have become a crucial moment because it's a goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. And teams have perfected that. Yeah.
Rehearse. Teams work it out. So the moment you create that situation and knowing the kind of pressure you find yourself, so I just don't understand exactly what Richard Ofori went through with regards to that. It's very, very appalling. He has to answer questions. After all the Adwa dance that he did at the airport and everything, if this was what he was going to show, then that's very disappointing. I find that very, very, very disappointing from Richard Ofori.
I mean, after the game, just at the mix zone, it was something else there between some of the players. The players and some journalists, Ghanaian journalists, who were looking to give the players some few words there. Let's check out that. When we come back, I'll just take a quick thoughts. Okay, so that's what we've got for you there. So just some visuals from Cote d'Ivoire there. And apparently it took 15 minutes to go back and forth with, and you can tell the frustration from Ghanaian journalists as to how they've held on to this, because look, it is very repetitive. If we want to take it all the way back into the World Cup, a game against South Korea, you take a very healthy lead, you bottle it, Korea is into the game. Cape Verde, those things are the very same things you did against Cape Verde repeated itself against Egypt. Yes. The very same things you did against Egypt repeated itself against Mozambique. Mm-hmm. And clearly, I don't know if the tech team are not looking at the past videos of the matches we're getting. And that was what resulted at the mix zone. Ghanaian journalists absolutely distraught with the team's performance.
Well, they are right to feel a certain way, because aside the fact that you are a journalist, you are also a Ghanaian. So definitely there is.
Yeah, you put a journalistic tag
exactly.
somewhere.
I saw a video of Sadiq Adams.
Yeah, when they considered the second goal.
Yes, that he had to put up. That's clearly the emotions that a lot of people have had to show. But I mean, I saw some of the journalists touting and, saying all sorts of words. I don't think it's right, in my opinion. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I mean, we have, you are doing your work and all of that, but it shouldn't be something. Someone said, leave that to the fans, and I agree.
Okay.
You leave that to the fans, but you are a professional. I listened to Benjamin Nketiah's report earlier on the Citi Breakfast Show, where he mentioned that it looks as if the players were being protected. The journalists wanted them to go through the mix zone, I'm sure, ask them a few questions. And
I think probably
that's what got them a bit agitated and felt that, no, you owe us that accountability, because you are there because of us. It is our taxpayers' money that's keeping you. You accept it as a player to come play for the national team. You were not forced. You had every right to say, I won't honor the call-up and I won't show up for the country.
And a perfect example was Babara Man.
Exactly.
He just decided
not to be there to save himself some of these situations. So if you have been there to, represent your nation, you owe us every bit of accountability. Okay. So the mixed zone is one of the areas where the journalists get to interact, get to know your mind, what is going on, what happened. So if you decide not to show up and people begin to...
Okay, so Kwame, hold on your thoughts for me. As it's time now to hear from you watching as phone lines activated. You can call us now and share your thoughts, what you think about the team's performance last night against Mozambique. We would want to hear from you because, look, the Black Stars is for the nation, and you have to have your say to regards to the team's performance there. But I mean, Kwame, you were just making a point.
Yeah. So I understand from that angle, but I mean, some of the footages I've seen with people who and all of those things. I mean,
you think it wasn't the right thing to do?
Way over the bar, in my opinion.
A quick one on that. I mean, what transpired at the mix zone between the journalists and the players?
It's natural. They are fans.
Yes.
So you're there for a job. It's not necessary to utter certain words. It's more important for the players to know that you've seen their mistakes, and probably you offer them advice moving forward. As journalists, probably the best thing to do is to use your platform to advise the FA on the way you think Ghana can go moving forward, the long-term plan. That is what will return Ghana to being a footballing nation. But if you focus on the now, you'd say things you're not supposed to say, and that's not necessary. You're supposed to report what you see, but support as a fan to the capability that will allow you to still be a professional. But I'm happy that this happened again. It's probably the third time in a row. We've been to 3 major tournaments recently, and group exits is good. It shows that we're not progressing, and we need to take certain decisions.
It's a reality check on what we are doing. It's our football.
We look at women's football and the investment and the attention we're giving to it. Probably, if we did the same thing with men's football and took out certain elements, maybe football will return to where it's supposed to be. But for now, it's a reality check that Ghana needed.
Okay, a reality check Ghana needed. So it's back-to-back exits. That's the starting all the way from the AFCON tournament in Cameroon, where the team lost to Comoros in the final group game. It was Group C, I believe. Ghana exited. The World Cup came in Qatar. The same thing happened. They failed to progress to the next phase of the competition. And now it's the AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire. And now the calculations are still ongoing, though. But it's still a bit not looking too close to what the chances of the Black Stars are in terms of progression to the round of 16, because it means that they have to wait for some other results in the matches that will be played today and tomorrow to actually know what the fate is for them in terms of if they want to progress as one of the third place teams. But with the points, it's just 2 points, and that's not looking good. And so the phone lines are out there for you. You can also call us. And also, so I think we've got a first caller. Hi, Joseph. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, Joseph. Okay, so I think we've lost our caller. Kwame, let me come back to you. I mean, I don't even know where to start from. The team is just in Cote d'Ivoire now. Ghana has to now wait for some other results that would pop up today to actually know. I mean,
Isn't that embarrassing that we have to find
It leaves you in a very unsettled state because you don't know whether you're moving or...
Exactly. So we are now in a situation where we have to wait for other results. A very embarrassing situation in the first place. A country that has won the Africa Cup of Nations 4 times. A country that's between 2008 and 2015, the best we ever did consistently was to be in the semi-final. In 2008, we were in the semi-final when we hosted. In 2012, same thing. In 2013, when we went to South Africa, similar situation. 2015, we were in the final.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the level of consistency we've showed. Then, out of nothing, 2017, round of 16 exit.
2019, round of 16.
We would have wished that we went to the round of 16 in 2019. We crashed out in the group stage. And now we are on the verge of crashing out again. And it goes to, I mean, there is what I refer to as the immediate causes, that's technical, coaching, right? And there's the root cause of all the situations that we find ourselves as a football, supposed football.
So it goes beyond coaching.
It goes beyond coaching. I mean, a lot of things have covered the surface. There is this surface paper cracks, surfacing the cracks. I mean, trying to patch it up. But clearly the cracks are there for us all to see. You don't, since 2017, or I mean, we went, that was during the normalization when we went to the Africa Cup of Nations. Clearly you could see the structures coming down at that point. The so-called senior players were exiting, the John Boys, the Asamoah Gyan's.
And somebody would say the reaction or the transition has been poor in terms of players you want to do a proper transition all the way from the juvenile level to whatever you go.
I'll give you an example. The team that formed the call in the 2006 team that went to the World Cup, majority of them, SCN, John Mensah, what's the name? Derek Boateng, Muntari. You know where they came from. You can trace that youth team that they were cut out from.
They were together for some time.
Thank you very much. Then that team went on ahead and began to fizzle out. There was another group of players that came. They were the group that won the under-20 championship.
Yeah, Andrea
Ayew, the Andrea Ayew team, and all of those guys, infused with these players that were coming out. Christian Acho of blessed memory, all coming out, all fused into this team.
Charlie.
Now, look at this current crop of players. The team that won the under-20, the only good tournament this administration.
You mean in Mauritania, under Zito?
Under Zito.
Yeah.
The star man decided not to come.
I mean, with his stories, it's really funny here.
Said to focus on his club.
On his game,
You get it? Now, I'll just trace it back a bit. The Kudus squad that played the under-17 championship in India.
Yeah.
That is in 2017. Just Kudus left. So where is the transition? So all the youth teams we've assembled, where are they? Then we come back. You clearly see a country that says, I am a football nation,
but he's doing things haphazardly.
That's the whole point. Scott hits the nail on the head.
Charlie.
No plan
whatsoever.
We've just...
Okay, hold on for me. We've got a caller. Hi, Salam. Talk to me. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Salam.
Yes, I can hear you, please. I can hear you.
Okay. This is Citi TV. Can you share your thoughts with me on what you watched yesterday between Ghana and Mozambique?
Yes. That's exactly the reason why I'm calling.
Okay, talk to me, bro.
Yes, please. We're so disappointed. Maybe you can hear it from my voice. It's not how my voice is. We're so disappointed as our guys. What is happening? What is happening? Play ball and let's move. Our guys will get ball instead of them to move forward towards our opponent's goals. You will see them rather bringing the ball back. What is that? What type of play is that? Anytime these guys get ball and let's defend the ball back to our post before, and then you not see any agency in the guys. I think nothing was at stake. I don't even know. You shut up, right?
I understand,
our goalkeeper, another area, the goalkeeper.
Okay.
That Kingsley has to come to Ghana and then explain to us, the whole country, the reason why he chose that guy over Citi. Now, look at us today. We are all lamenting, making our wounds and all. So every time it's back and forth. You go to tournament, you will not do well, you come back, talk, and that ends it. Oh, come on. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Okay, so that's our first caller, Salam. Not too excited with, I mean, just picking up some of your thoughts of what you said. But this is what we'll do. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we've got a lot more for you. This is the AFCON Daily Show, heavily powered by Bet Power. You can win big with Bet Power by placing just a small amount of money on that, and you can win a lot of cash. You can just do that by signing on to betpower.com.gh and do that. You should be 18 plus to be able to do that. So please, I beg you, if you're not 18 plus, don't try. My name is Gabriel Fair. We're taking a quick break. Don't change your dial. Welcome back. This is the AFCON Daily Show on CCTV. My name is Gabriel Fair, and we're talking about the Black Stars' performance against Mozambique last night. And let's get back to the phone segment. We've got a caller. Hi, Luca, talk to me. Can you hear me? Hello, Luca.
Yeah, hello.
I hope you're good. Talk to me about the Black Stars' performance against Mozambique last night.
Okay. Yeah, I have something small to talk about. All that I want to say is our keeper is not good, and also the main captain of the team is not good. How can we sit that in a match where we want to win? The value is so good. Me, all that I want us to do is to dissolve the team, dissolve the GFA, so that we can get new people, the people who can help us build something new for the country. Some people with good things. How can a country like Comoros and Namibia, Black Stars, at first, when maybe you are playing with a country and they hear the name Black Stars, they will silver. But now, they don't silver because we have the qualities, but we don't use the qualities to make good, to make anything good. How can we be playing with the bed and the discord now? How can we be playing with Egypt? My problem is we should sack the GFA president, we should sack the coach and dissolve the Black Stars and invest the money in the Ghana Premier League.
Okay.
That's what I want.
All right.
Because all the money that we are spending on the Black Stars, we are not getting any good from it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Luca. And yeah, so, I mean, yeah, you mentioned that we should try and channel our focus into the women's football. Someone is also calling for the local league. I don't know what you want to say about that.
Someone's motto for election was creating wealth, igniting passion and creating wealth for all. So probably he should go by that and ensure that the domestic leagues from Premier League to Division 1 to Division 2, there's some value there.
Okay.
Just so that those that are investing in it will reap something out of it and not be forced to try and push for their players to be selected for what's not and what's not.
Charlie.
That's what needs to happen. If there's enough value, someone's not going to be forcing himself into a national team. They know that organically their team will grow, chances will come, and naturally, if your player is good enough, they will get the opportunity. That's what needs to happen.
Okay. Yeah, in terms of what next for the Black Stars, especially with Chris Hughton, Kwame, sorry, do you think that it would be the right thing to sack him? If you've got your way, do you think that you would stick with him?
Gabi, I don't think this is the question we should be asking ourselves at the right time, at this time, because the coach knows.
Yeah.
I mean,
he needs to step down.
He has to. Any honourable person, and I believe he's honourable. Yeah. Yes, I really believe he's honourable. Would make every attempt to step aside at this point because he has accepted responsibility, and that's a very.
So you
good
think that the next thing that
a very
should
good
follow
first
should
yes,
be
just
that.
follow, just step aside, and you would expect that of the people handling our football as well, because this administration has supervised poor competitions where we've gone out of a lot of group stages.
Yeah.
Chan group stage, under 23 African Championship group stage.
Yeah.
World Cup, Black Stars, group stage. Africa Cup of Nations.
Group stages.
Group stages in the first. And now we are looking at another group stage exit. If you take a hard look at yourself, I mean, if you're a human being and you've gone through these series of failures, the thing you do is to take a hard look at yourself.
And do the honorable thing.
Assess yourself and ask myself, me, am I good at this thing that I'm doing?
Yeah.
Am I really governing or doing anything good out of this football thing that I'm doing? You look at yourself and you do the honorable thing. But we know we are in this country. We know how football
Nothing will happen.
I mean, that's the whole point.
Because come to think of it, we've got a World Cup qualifiers to play.
So you were asking me. That's what I was going to.
Offset.
We will come back. The template is there. We will deal with the template. Come and apologize. Get PR, the PR machine. Yesterday, the PR machinery started working. They gathered around somewhere in the stadium.
They held a brief meeting.
A brief meeting. I mean, you could have the meeting anywhere, but trying to, and they knew they would be captured. So, let them capture us. Then they put it on social media. The GFA was in some form of emergency meeting, just to know
but that is always the
that's absolutely
emergency meeting.
It is a template.
Yeah, no, to make you know that there
is
action.
crisis. Yes, let's show evidence that we are working. So that will happen, right? We'll come back. Oh, the coach has to go. The coach has to go. The coach has to go. The coach will go. A new appointment will come. We have an immediate World Cup qualifier to play. Yes, we will assemble a team, try and do something, force one win and some draw out of it. And then we will do all the things that we need to do. Force ourselves, pump money into qualifying for the next World Cup. Oh, everything is well. You see, sometimes that's not what I want. But I understand when people say that, oh, let's not qualify for the World Cup, because it's become some sort of a money-making machine.
Okay. Hold on for me. We've got a last caller for today. Abdullahi, hi, can you hear me? Talk to me. What do you think about the Black Stars' performance against Mozambique last night? Hello, Abdullahi.
Yes, the problem is that... hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, talk to me about the team's performance against Mozambique last night.
Yes, the problem is that everything in Ghana, we have a problem with our coach. So when we are talking about coach management or the black team, the Black Stars team management, we have a problem with that, because when the players play till the second half, some people should have let the coach change some people, but everything we are not. Can't you see I can't talk, because I'm just sad about everything we have done yesterday. So when we are supporting our country, we have to remove politics. Everything we are everything when we are meet up since 2019 that we 20% we need our football in Ghana. So everything, if we are going to stand up or stand in our feet in Ghana about our football, we have to remove politics and just play this and just do the things all right for our Ghana team. So now we have a problem with that.
All right.
Yesterday, our captain. So
right.
During the last minute of the game, he caused a penalty for us.
Okay.
So he's not working hard or he's not making hard to make Ghana people happy.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Abdullahi.
Yes.
Kindly turn down the volume of your set for me, okay, and then make it brief so that we call it a wrap, please. Okay. I think we've lost Abdullahi. But joining us for today on the Zoom is John Boafo, all the way in Ivory Coast, to tell us a bit more what is happening in Abidjan. Hi, John. Can you hear me?
Hi, Gabriel. How are you doing?
John, can you unmute for me? I think I cannot hear you.
I'm
okay.
Off mute. Can you hear?
Come again. I didn't get you, John. I'm still struggling to hear John. We'll work on that and get back to that a bit later. But yeah, just a quick one. I mean, on One Next for Ghana, we just got some few minutes. Okay, let's get back to John. Hi, John. Can you hear me? I still cannot hear John. I cannot hear him. John, have you unmuted?
No, I'm not unmuted. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, fantastic.
I hope you're good.
Gabriel. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm well. I've been better, but I'm well. I've been able to sleep and digest the performances for my both teams yesterday.
Wow.
But yeah, it's
well, someone would say it's a double dose of, I don't know how to put it. I mean, Ivory Coast, who were taken into the cleaners by Equatorial Guinea, I mean, losing by 4-0. And then later, you had to witness that 2-0 draw against Mozambique. I mean, Ghana taking on Mozambique. Can you just sum up? Let's start off with the Black Stars' performance against Mozambique. Quick thoughts on what you witnessed last night.
Yeah, bro. Like you mentioned, it's a double dose of pain and suffering. As a Ghanaian living in Cote d'Ivoire, yesterday was very difficult being at the stadium and witnessing both performances. If we start off with the Ghana Black Stars, no one would have thought that so late in the game with a 2-0 lead, we would concede. It's funny though, because the Ivorian crowd that did end up staying to watch the Ghana game at first were really behind the Black Stars. At 2-0, they were there chanting for the players, pushing them on. And then at 2-1, they basically realized that if Ghana drew or even lost, they had a better chance of making it to the next round. So they switched camp and were supporting the Mozambique team. And when Mozambique scored the goal, they were really happy. Scenes of joy, which was disheartening, to be honest. But it is what it is.
Well, John, I don't know what you make about the substitutions we saw from Houghton. I mean, he took a 2-goal lead. Even before he introduced Andre Ayew, the decision to introduce Andre Ayew in that bit, it was just a lot of minutes to take care of. And would you say that somehow led to the team's late collapse against Mozambique?
My understanding is that Chris saw that in the second part of the first half, there was a drop-off. I mean, that was clear to see from those of us who were in the stands. The Black Stars started really well with a lot of energy, pressing, but then there was a little bit of a drop-off, and I assume that that's why he took off Joseph Painstill. I was surprised, though, because at halftime, we could see Andre Ayew warming up, but we didn't think that he would come in until later on in the game. And I'm not sure what exactly happened, but early on in the week, we were talking about ensuring that the Black Stars team were concentrated for the whole 90 minutes or 90 minutes plus stoppage time. And they were certainly not concentrated for the duration of the 90 minutes plus the stoppage time. It's unfortunate that such errors keep happening, and they happen in all 3 games. So I think at the end of the day, we also deserve the fate that we have. Although there's a really, really slim chance of us making it to the next round, we end up just deserving what we getting what we deserve. Sorry, I'm a bit emotional about this whole thing, but
yeah. And so, but finally, before we leave on the bits of the Black Stars, I mean, the question everybody is asking is what next for this current crop of players, and what next for Coach Chris Houghton himself? People are saying that after taking full responsibility for the team's late collapse against Mozambique, the next thing he needs to do, or the next things he needs to consider or to tell us, is to say that he will not continue in his role again.
I mean, that is we definitely need some in-house cleaning, and I think that it's not only on the coaching part; it also needs to happen at the federation level. The big wigs at the GFA really need to sit down and see what's going on, because over the last, in the recent past, let's say, Ghana has underperformed, and we can't say that it's only because of the players. We have a crop of talented players that are playing in some of the biggest clubs in Europe, and it takes a talented and a good player to be able to perform and to start in some of these clubs that they're starting in. So we can't lay all the blame on the players. We also need to look at the backroom staff. We also need to look at the coaches. We also need to look at the federation level. Are they really doing all that they can to create an atmosphere, an environment that is conducive to performance? I doubt that. So it's back to the drawing board for the GFA and the Black Stars team, and we're really going to push, and we're going to support them. We'll keep supporting them, but I'm not very confident for the future. Something radical needs to happen so that in the next 2 years, and then also in the next 4 years, in Morocco, and then in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, something needs to change to ensure Black Stars don't continue disappointing us on the international scene, and letting down some of the players that really work hard to do their best to perform for the Black Stars team.
Wow. Well, you mentioned disappointment, and that takes me to the host nation, Ivory Coast, who are just about seeing history repeat itself. The last time they hosted the tournament, 1984, they exited in the group stage, and that's looking like manifesting again. I mean, your thoughts on that 4-0 hammering at the hands of Equatorial Guinea?
Well, I would say there are two things, two words or two concepts that come in mind. The first one is wasteful, and the second one is out of sync. If you think about wasteful, they had 22 shots versus Equatorial Guinea's 10 shots. They had an expected goal of 2.4 versus Equatorial Guinea's 1.31. And they only had 3 shots on target and 0 goals. Equatorial Guinea was really realistic, and they took their chances when they did have it. And it's a real shame to see a team that everyone was behind, and the stadium was as full as it could have been, given the recent issues that they have with the ticketing, and everyone was really pushing and supporting the team. But from the beginning, it seemed like it wasn't Cote d'Ivoire's day. From the opportunities that were there, the shots, which are off target, opportunities that were wasted, they were really wasteful yesterday. And then in terms of being out of sync, it was most illustrated with the scuffle, I would say, not to say a fight, between Franck Kessié and Fofana.
Yeah.
During the cooling break, they basically were almost fighting. It seemed like Fofana was remonstrating, wanted Franck Kessié to play more forward passes, and it led to a little bit of a scuffle between both players. So you could see that the team was out of sync. Some of the runs that the forward players did weren't matched by the midfielders. Some of it just basically the whole team was out of sync. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but it was disappointing from the stands to be able to watch a team that is hosting, and you expect them to do well in front of their fans. And there were also scenes that reminded us of the 7-1 defeat that Brazil suffered, the humiliation that they suffered as the host team.
And finally, what are the people saying in Cote d'Ivoire after witnessing that performance? Against Equatorial Guinea.
In the stadium at 2-0, people were really starting to boo. You saw people throwing some bottles of water to try to throw them on the pitch, which is actions and things that we don't want to see. And at 2-0, 3-0, basically half of the area, the stadium emptied out. People just started to walk out. And even before the 4-0 goal, there was a lady behind me who said, "Okay, they should just concede a 4th goal so we can just round it up to an even number." In the press today, people are talking about Jean-Louis Gasset should quit, should leave the team, especially in the wake of the fact that he's one of the top 10 most paid coaches that are currently at this AFCON. I believe he's the number 3. So people are disappointed that you pay so much for an experienced coach that handled Saint-Etienne, who was the assistant manager also at PSG, that he's not been able to get the best out of this crop of players, this crop of talented players, and it didn't seem like he knew what he was doing yesterday, which is unfortunate. So people are calling for him to resign. But Ivorians are also resilient. They have a saying which says something to the effect of "Don't say die." So they're hoping that they'll be able to qualify still and make it to the next group, next stage. Make it out of the group, and we're crossing our fingers because I can't have both teams that I support come out of get stuck in the group.
But do you think that would be the way forward for the Ivorian national team, especially looking at the squad they've got this moment? Because you look at the squad and they say that it's never closer to what we've seen the past Ivorian teams do have.
Yeah, if you think about the best teams that Ivory Coast has had, the golden generation with the Tourés and Drogbas, etc. This squad isn't as talented, but the squad has also been resilient and been able to grind out results. And we thought that being at home, they would get some kind of energy and perform better than they were able to. Watching the Nigeria game, it seemed like they were a bit clueless as to how to find the back of the net. And the same thing happened yesterday against Equatorial Guinea. But hopefully they'll still be able to make it out of the group and maybe find some kind of second win to be able to make a run deep into the competition. But I'm not very, I'm keeping my hopes a bit down because my heart has already been broken twice last night. So I'm trying to preserve it.
Well, Jonah, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for your time, and do take care of yourself. We'll catch you some other time, John. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so that's John Wafo. I mean, double dose of pain for him last night after witnessing the Ivorians taken to the cleanest by Equatorial Guinea. They lost that game by 4-0, and then later I also watched the Black Stars bottling a 2-goal lead against Mozambique. But let's check out that game that took place that's involving Ivory Coast taking on Equatorial Guinea. No, that's not a performance the Ivorians would have hoped to watch that from their team. I mean, it wasn't good. Look, against Equatorial Guinea, who would have thought that a group of Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau and Equatorial Guinea, you see Equatorial Guinea topping the group. I mean, when we did a preview for the countries to qualify, I bet you, I don't think any of the guys we spoke to actually tipped Equatorial Guinea to top the group with 7 points and qualify. And the host nation are all over the place. Kwame, let me start with you. Quick one.
You know, Cape Verde also topped the group chat as well. I'm not sure anyone would have thought or put these teams at the top of the summits by the end of the groups. It communicates something. Teams are taking the whole football thing very seriously.
Yeah.
We watch the kind of football the likes of Equatorial Guinea, Cape Verde plays, and it's not just about names. The difference between the Equatorial Guinea team I saw yesterday and that of the Ivorian team was that one was a team and one was a collection of players doing their own thing. I mean,
top stars probably playing somewhere in Europe come together and do something.
Just look at that midfield of the Ivory Coast. Frank Kessié, formerly of AC Milan, Barcelona, now chasing money in Saudi Arabia. Sangari, PSV Eindhoven, now in Nottingham Forest.
Castle in there doing a bit,
I mean, that's a collection of stars, but they are not a team. Now, if you watch the game yesterday carefully, you see how well and how organized the Equatorial Guinea team was and how determined they were to win the game. And you watch the Ivorian team, and that was a complete opposite. A team that lacked spirit, a team that lacked character, a team... And John mentioned the fight. Anyone who watched the game saw the fight.
Yeah.
They were just disorganized. And there were points where after the second goal went in, their heads dropped.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
that's true.
everybody was like, okay, it's
they
done.
gave up.
There is nothing we could do. Look, see what Mozambique did yesterday. They felt that, okay.
They kept on attacking when it was 0-2.
Even till the very end. So you'd expect a country, a team that has won the African Cup of Nations in recent times, 2015, to have that level of mentality. And I would question, and even the coach, the moment the first goal went into the post, he had his hand inside his head.
So it started all the way from the coach, then trickles down to the players.
Exactly. So you look clearly at the team and you see a collection of individuals and not a team. When you go into the country, I was there, and you speak to anyone, it was funny. This thing I'm saying is very funny. They had belief in Ghana qualifying than their own team. I'm like,
what have they seen?
If someone thinks that their team is better, Ghana is better than their team, then they are worse.
Yeah.
So exactly that's what we saw.
I mean, John Bob mentioned it several times. That look, when you speak to any Ivorian, the thing they saw is that they always feel Ghanaian.
Exactly. They
and
feel,
clearly, you could tell yesterday after the 4-0 hammering, they just channeled their support to.
The game against Egypt in the stadium, you had more people in Ivorian shirts than Ghana shirts in the stadium. A lot of the people. And they were all there to support the Black Stars. So you see that the whole nation, yes, they are just feeling the euphoria of the Cup of Nations being in their country, having people in the country. Africa's biggest football extravaganza is being held there. Everything is there, but there is very little connection with the team. You speak to any Ivorian, and they are like, oh, our team is not as it used to be. They just keep mentioning names of the old stars, that golden generation that they had, vis-a-vis, or comparing it to this team that they have, and you could see a clear contrast of what they had previously and what they have now. So I'm not surprised they may advance. No, normally when we are playing tournament, when we get to the knockout stage, anything at all can happen.
That's true.
A lot goes in. Yeah. You see this Egypt team that they've qualified to the groups.
They
next
can just turn up a different...
Just mark it somewhere. Yeah. We'll come back to it one day.
And I listened to several analysis, and the thing they talk about is that, is it not shocking that Egypt is qualifying out of Group B with 3 points? I mean, somebody would think that for a country who got to the final at the last edition would blaze up that group.
Just watch them from this point now. Yeah. Mark it somewhere.
And it's not like the Egyptians have been bad, actually. They've played good football. But, talk to me about the Ivorians, what this quick one, and then we get to the Nigeria-Guinea-Bissau game. Like I asked John, the first time they hosted it, 1984, they exited, hosting it again, looking at the money they've pumped in. One of their stadiums, I think, where we played yesterday, they pumped in $257 million. And it tells you the things they put together, the pieces and everything they put together to host this. And on the football bit, it's not looking good.
It's quite concerning watching a team or a country invest so much, and it seems they didn't do the same in terms of their football. Yeah. Because you look at their call-ups, you look at the quality of the players they did call up, and you're surprised they're where they are. I had them down as one of the favorites alongside Nigeria to qualify, just because it's the host nation. Yeah. But then there's always this possibility that when you are the host nation, you relax. You've already qualified for the tournament, one, and then when you get into the tournament, home support will see me through. Yeah, but when there's home support and the football is not backing the home support, then we have a challenge. Okay. So it's more about the Ivorians having at the back of their minds that, okay, we're playing at home. It can't get bad. Yeah. We won the first game, resounding. We play against Nigeria. Yeah, it was just 1 goal. But you play a team that they've been up for it from day one. You watch them against Nigeria. You watch them against the other opponents, and you realize that, okay, they didn't come to play. Yeah. They are not just one of the teams in the groups. So that's what probably the mindset coming into the tournament, how they started off, had them relax because they thought, okay, we blazed. We won that easy. It will be easier as we go along. And Equatorial Guinea actually, they've gone in the tournament. And that's what's happening in the tournament in general, where teams are actually going a bit more, getting into it. And when they get into it, they believe anything is possible, the magic of the cup. And that's what's happened. But structurally, you look at the team and, I think John mentioned it, where there was a bit of an issue with Fofana and Kessie. And the one thing Kessie was talking about, which is get the ball up a bit, it cost them a goal. Yeah. The third goal, you've conceded, you're going all out now. From kickoff, you just play a long ball, you lose it, and you're down another goal. It's 3-0. So there's certain things that I think were out of the window. They were not a bit pragmatic as they should be in the final group game, where you needed a win, but a draw wouldn't have been bad. Yes. You should have been conservative. You've got the quality of players to play counter-attack football. Pepe, I think, was very wasteful. Yeah. It's quite sad that he started it. He's been on the bench and they played fine. They should have stuck with that. Yeah. And he comes on. He had that early opportunity and he couldn't finish it. So that is just one element of Ivory Coast forward line or their tactical setup that let them down. They should have been pragmatic, especially against Equatorial Guinea, what they showed us against Nigeria.
All right, so not looking good for the host nation, Ivory Coast. Well, you're still watching the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. My name is Gabi Ofer, here with Yao Frimpong and Kwame Bafo Jr. You can send in your thoughts on what you think about the countries, their performance so far at the African Cup of Nations on our WhatsApp text lines, and we'll read that for you in a bit. But let's get to two other countries in Group A. That's Guinea-Bissau, who took on Nigeria. All right, so that's what Nigeria did to Guinea-Bissau. Just one goal they put past them, and Victor Osimhen doesn't look like a man who's carrying this Nigerian team in this tournament. I don't think he's fared too well.
Well, he's definitely struggling, and strikers feed on goals. That's where your confidence comes from. He missed some very, very good chances in the first game that they played against Equatorial Guinea, so definitely having a toll on him. You represent Nigeria, a country that has about 300 million people in there, with a lot of pressure. There's a lot more you need to do when you're a player of Nigeria. So you definitely feel that pressure building up in him, and it's getting to him, definitely making it very, very difficult for him. But once he should get a first goal, I'm sure the goals would come. But you normally do this in the group stage. When it gets to the knockout stages, you don't have too many games. Knockout stage is knockout stage. You just have to show up, do the job professionally. Becomes way more difficult. And that's what Nigeria have done so far in this tournament. They've been very professional. They are not playing too well. I mean, you don't need to play too well to win a tournament. You just need to win your games, and that's what they've been able to do. Drew their first game against Equatorial Guinea. We've now come to know the kind of team Equatorial Guinea is after they top in the group. So the Nigerians will look back at that result and say, okay,
it was a good result.
The draw was a very good one. They went ahead to beat their host nation.
That was a big win.
That was a big win for them, and they've been able to do a professional job against Guinea-Bissau there. So it's clearly a professional job from Jose Pizarro. Many people still don't believe in. You speak to Nigerians, and they still don't believe in the coach and whatever he's trying to do with the team. We've all analyzed this Nigerian team. Some will say they are very top-heavy. In the middle, they are a few more players in there.
The back not
too solid. Now bringing in Calvin Bassey has brought a little bit more solidity. They had issues with their goalkeeper, Stanley Wabli.
Francis Ozoho.
And all of that. Wabli hasn't been tested as you'd want. Like the way Maduka Okoye and then Francis Ozoho had gone through that mill. People are expecting him to go through that. Then we know that, okay, this is what he's made of, So it's all part of the whole process in the tournament. But generally, they fared well. 7 points from the group, going on to the next stage. They've got the job done professionally. We'll see how it goes with the knockout stages, where the proper action begins.
Okay, what do you see this Nigerian team gets into?
Well, a critical look at them shows that they are not good when they play 4 at the back.
Oh, okay.
Shifting to 3 or 5 at the back has actually made them a lot better, because then it allows Sanusi as well as Olaina to get involved in the attacking transitions, attacking phase, and they offer so much more, because then Osimhen has something to feed on. Simon Moses has something to feed on. That's what they need to be doing. But once they try to play with a 4 at the back, it limits them going forward. In the middle, they are a bit light, as Kwame said. But then with their laterals, they have the quality and the speed over there. Lukman can tuck in. If he's playing as a winger, he can tuck in and join Osimhen and offer another body. So certainly, Nigeria need to be wary of the opponents going forward. Whoever they will be facing in the next round, it's important for them to stick to what works. Calvin Bassey joining the centre-backs has been a revelation, has allowed them to play comfortably, because he's a natural left-back. That snuck into centre-back position. So he covers Olaina or Sanusi quite easily. It makes it very easy for them to play that flat 3-back, because he's got the ability to just go and be a left-back if need be. So in the next round, it's important for them to stick to that philosophy and trust Onyeka a bit more. Just put bodies in the middle that they can pull a ball out of nowhere. Put ball into dangerous areas for Victor Osimhen to feed on, for Lukman to run onto, and then we'll probably see. But I'm certain that Nigeria would go on into the quarters, certainly.
All right, let's see where Nigeria will get to. We'll have to hear from you also what you think about Nigeria's chances. I mean, the Nigerians watching, just get to us on the WhatsApp text line. So what you think about the teams so far, how they are faring at the tournament. Remember that this is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV, proudly brought to you by Bet Power. You can win big with Bet Power by signing on to that and just play some small money behind that and you'll win big. You have to be 18 years and above. So if you're not, please do not do that. But let's now check out the rankings for the third place teams. And so that you can actually start doing the calculations well in terms of countries. We're looking for 4 countries to progress to the round of 16. We've got Cote d'Ivoire in there they won just one game, 2 losses. They've scored 2 goals. Conceded 5, so what it means is that they got -3 and they do have 3 points. Then Namibia is in Group E. They have played 2 games. They have 1 win, 1 loss, and just scored 1 goal. Conceded 4, -3. There's Algeria, Zambia, Ghana. So Zambia, Algeria, and Namibia are yet to play. So it means that from today and tomorrow we'll see, and together with Cameroon, and then we can see who would be the fate of the Black Stars. But the Black Stars have actually got 2 points, yes, and that's rankings for the third place teams. But let's check out Group C. The fixtures, yes, for today we've got Gambia taking on Cameroon at 5 p.m. At the same time, we'll see Guinea up against Senegal. Senegal, the defending champions. Senegal have already qualified to the next stage of the competition. Cameroon will need to pick up a very good win against Gambia later today to stand any chance of progressing to the next phase of the competition. But guys, let me start off with Yao on this. Senegal have started so well. They've put out a very good statement that they would want to win this again for the second time under Aliou Cissé. Already qualified, coming up against a Guinean side who are not sure of what they'll turn up. I mean, your thoughts on Senegal's 2 wins so far and their chances of winning it again?
Well, they've shown that they are defending champions. They've shown that beyond what's played on the pitch, there are structures working for their football association. And the most important thing for Senegal, is that they have quality across board. They have a philosophy. You can tell that Aliou Cissé has instilled something, which is they understand that you have the ball, you move it quickly, you progress it across the pitch, and then you create simple goal-scoring opportunities by overloading, passing it across, and it's a simple goal. And another key thing is they've got quality in their forward line.
Yeah.
Ismail Sarr, when you need him, Papa Maté Sarr in the middle still supplies. You've got Sadio Mane. Even Gana Gueye is getting involved in the action because the system's working.
It's working, yeah.
So it's about Senegal just ensuring that they keep it a game at a time, but then probably a statement against Guinea, another statement against Guinea will send it across the groups that, look, they are not here to play. Defending it will be difficult, but so far they've shown that they are coping quite well with the pressure of being defending champions.
Okay. Can Cameroon, it's on Cameroon now, they have to win to stand any chance of progressing to the round of 16. Is it looking very difficult for them?
They have no option than to win. A lot isn't going well with Cameroon, but a friend of mine used to say that Cameroon thrives in chaos. I mean, when there's a lot of chaos, that's how. I mean, it's been a central theme in Cameroon for some time.
From the Onana bit to the coaching bit,
to coach,
to their president Eto'o in the news.
Team that won in 2017. Players decided not to come.
Yeah.
That was when there was the issue of players like Choupo-Moting and the Liverpool defender Joel Matip, and all of those players decided not to come. And they went in there, did their bits, and so that's Cameroon for you. I expect them to win this game against Gambia.
Okay.
They have no other option. The first 2 oppositions that they played are actually very good teams.
Okay.
Guinea is actually a very good team. Looking at the kind of football they played, they went down by a man and they still had a solid game plan that were able to shut out the Cameroonians from the game, and that's exactly what they did. Now against Senegal, I always say that for Senegal, the only thing that can stop them is complacency.
Okay.
They have everything that it takes to be able to do. So Cameroon going in a game against Gambia, who also have their own set of issues. We all know the things that they went through en route to the tournament, flight issues, issues of bonuses and all of that. I mean, Cameroon would definitely deal with these things better. Ghanaians would expect a draw in this game for obvious reasons. If you're expecting a draw, I'm sorry, you won't have it. Cameroon will definitely win this game. I think Cameroon will win this game.
Cameroon to win this?
Yes.
Okay, Cameroon to win this. That's coming back for you. He says, if you're expecting a draw from Cameroon, forget. The Black Stars are coming home. Well, let's check out the final fixture for today in Group D. Yes, Group D. It's Group C and Group D up for you today. It's Burkina Faso there with Angola at 8 p.m. Then later, the same time actually, not later, in that same group. We've got Mauritania up against Algeria. Things are not looking too good. And the group is actually wide open. And that group, you look at, everybody has got a shot of progressing to the next phase. Quick thoughts, guys.
Algeria need to turn up.
Yeah.
They've coped well with the pressure, getting a goal or a draw when they needed it, but they need to turn up today, and a win is a must, just to send a statement that they are not down and out.
Okay. Kwame?
It's a very open group, like Yao just said. Teams have surprised me. Angola, for instance, have surprised me. The kind of football they played against Algeria. And that group in itself has produced some wonderful football.
Okay.
Mauritania themselves are not a bad team at all. If you remember the coach of Comoros, he's the coach of Mauritania now.
Okay.
The coach that took us out 2 years ago. You watched the football.
Yeah. I saw him, The first... I can't recall his name, but that's a good point you raised. Yeah.
The same coach that took. So it tells you the kind of football that they are playing. They can winning today also gives them an opportunity to get 3 points and puts them in a position of being part of the best three, because looking at the standings of the teams that are on third place. So they will also try and fight and then get a win in this game. But I still think Algeria would have what it takes. Not all teams are like Ghana.
Yeah.
That's when they have such kind of advantage, fluff it.
They fluff
I
it.
expect Algeria to win their game against. Like, the actual game will be the Burkina versus Angola game. It's my match to watch in this one, and I expect Burkina to turn up in this game.
Come expect Burkina to turn up in the game, and you have to get a live video commentary, Citi 97.3, so you cannot miss out on that. The AFCON on Citi TV is brought to you by Bet Power. If you want to win lots of cash this period, now that we've got the AFCON games kicking off from now to, it started all the way just somewhere last week. It would end somewhere February 11. You can win big with Bet Power, and you must make sure that you're 18 plus to be able to sign on to betpower.com.gh and win big. But some messages that I've got here. This one says they should sack the GFA boss. My name is Eric. Okay, another one too says it's too sad. Too much training with zero result. Black Stars is the most. Okay, I can't say this here. I wish this president can stop wasting our money and eliminate all GFA members. They are putting shame on our country, and the name of Ghana is far bigger than this disgrace. GFA needs to set back to factory reset, and the Black Stars will be Black Stars again. Okay. Says Kwafo from Tema, says that, good morning, guys. I'm sorry about this. Okay, talking in relation to, that's not in relation to what we're discussing here. This one says, hey, Ghana, the whole thing looks staged. People always keep talking about sacking coach. I think we need to disband this team and get players who want to play for Ghana be seen, not professional players that are not playing for the game, but at the office field working for the money. Ghanaians have to apologize to Osamajan and the rest of the players. If not, we'll never win a trophy again, Charlie. Guys, So talk about the curse bit. So I mean, the last game we played, that took the Black Stars to this AFCON against Central African Republic, where their head coach Raoul Savoy, when he was asked a very interesting question about what he thinks about Chris Hughton's team, and the only thing he was like, no, I think his final was what does he has for us when he was departing? Because we'll meet them again in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. He was like, I wish your AFCON to be like the very last one you had. And clearly that's manifested. I mean, I'm sure Savoy will be looking at the performance in Cote d'Ivoire and be like, oh, Semikai, it's happening again. But I mean, just quick thoughts on, because now we'd have to, look, if you want to say that you're sticking into what results will come our way, the team needs to move away from what has happened in Cote d'Ivoire and begin to get itself psyched up for the big test later in March in the World Cup qualifiers.
Well, the coach didn't make a prophetic declaration.
Yeah. You mean Raoul Savoy?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, you just have to see it. This is the first time Ghana went into an AFCON that I can say with all certainty that about 99.9%, including the players and the coaches themselves, knew that they were not going to perform. Because we know the actual problems.
Yeah.
We've become, excuse my language, very dishonest about what actual situation is. So you don't need Raoul to come and tell you that your AFCON is likely to be as the last AFCON that you had. It's exactly where we find ourselves. Like I've said, we are peppering over the cracks. We are just trying to apply some few cosmetics to do some few
the existing
makeups.
Problems.
Small rain and the makeup is all gone, and then the actual face. Now this is not my real face, so the real face shows, and then
don't do this to the Black Stars.
Here we are, So it's clear.
Yeah.
The situation is there. We are just trying to apply makeup to it, but then when the rains come, the actual face shows, and that's where we find ourselves right now. Until we deal with those institutional cracks, how call-ups are made, how transitions in the national team are made, the meritocracy of getting the right people, and then trying to get things done in the right way, we'll be back again. Same template. Go, rant, come back, deal with the situation. We'll be back again. We'll be sitting in this chair ranting about the Black Stars. Let's go back to many years.
Maybe the next time we sit in this chair, we won the AFCON.
Over to you.
Well, the structural issues, if our institutions are not aligned, we don't have a clear plan for our football, it will end up in the same situation. We'll probably not qualify next time around.
Yeah.
So probably best to start a project, a 10, 15-year project where we know that beyond the 15 years, Ghana football will survive. And that might...
Morocco are reaping from that.
Exactly. That might see us enjoy better days at AFCONs and other tournaments.
Well, that's it from the guys. I mean, it's been a very interesting discussion. We started all the way with the Black Stars' performance against Mozambique. I mean, we'll keep you updated as to how the other teams fare later today and tomorrow. Hopefully by Thursday, somebody will say we can know our smoothness levels in terms of if you're heading to the airports or waiting for who would face next in the round of 16. This is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. It was proudly brought to you by Bet Power. You can do big things with Bet Power by signing on to that hub. It's at betpawa.com.gh, and you've got a lot of things to win there by just placing as low as £1 to win big there. So that's it. I mean, the matches are still ongoing. You don't want to sit at home and just watch the matches, and especially with the Black Stars one, just expect that 2 goals will come in. It comes in. You didn't place any money on anything you do. You just have to hop on to Bet Power to win big. Thank you guys, Yao Frimpong and Kwame Bafo Jr. We're back same time tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll bring you the result from the games that will happen today. But on radio, you can enjoy live radio commentary on Citi 97.3. Build up top-notch analysis for you. You can also send in your thoughts on whatever you think regards to the matches you are watching. My name is Gabi Ofer, and many thanks for choosing Citi TV. Catch you same time tomorrow.